Apple unveiled its new MacBook Pro Thursday in Cupertino, California. The company showed off many long-awaited upgrades, including something called a Touch Bar. My colleague Rena Ninen spoke with the only CNET source we trust to break down any Big Apple event.
CNET editor Brian Tong joins us from San Francisco. Okay, Brian, you got to tell us, what are the big upgrades here?
Well, the biggest thing really is with these new MacBook Pros, it's this all-new feature called the Touch Bar. Think of that top row on your current computer that normally has like the function keys, or you change the brightness and volume control. That is going to be replaced by this OLED Touch Bar that changes depending on the application you're using. So if it's photos, you can even see some of your photo collection on there and scroll through it. If it's something like mail, you can respond from those keys. But it's kind of a touch bar that adapts to the application you're using. I think it's really interesting. It comes down to how much will we really change our behaviors. They showed people using it with some of these higher-end pro apps like Photoshop and Final Cut Pro. Again, it's kind of Apple's answer to the fact that they don't have an actual touchscreen laptop. They're putting some sort of touchscreen functionality in there. Overall, the machine looks great, a lot of improvements, but at the same time, it's not like I need to get this thing right now.
Okay, that's good to know. And for the third straight quarter in a row, Brian, we've seen year-to-year revenue decline for Apple. Explain what's going on here.
What it is, it's a combination of things. Look, the iPhone isn't going to be continuously breaking records nonstop. That trend has changed, and let's be honest, there is a little bit of iPhone fatigue, especially since they released a similar looking model for the third straight year in a row. And then you also have their iPad sales have declined. The Apple Watch it's one of the better selling smartwatches, but it's not doing gangbusters. So right now, Apple's kind of in a lull. They released these new MacBooks. That's going to help them some. But even looking forward into the future, they do project things to lift up again. But this is, like you said, the first time like an overall revenue decline. That is something to look at. But I'm not going to say that Apple's in trouble right now. They're still making around $100 million every day. So I think they're going to be okay.
Do you think there's a little nervousness about iPhone 7 sales?
For sure, for sure. The reception was, it's a nice phone. It's not a great phone. People weren't, they're actually benefiting more from the bad press of the Galaxy Note 7 than the fact that the iPhone 7 is a nice upgrade, but it's not a gotta-have upgrade. And I think a lot of people in the tech world and even general consumers want to be convinced, like, I've got to have this. And the iPhone 7 didn't necessarily do that for everyone.
Okay, and Brian, just a couple days ago, Microsoft held an event as well. Got a lot of people excited about their new desktop computer, the Surface Studio. What's cool about this desktop?
This, I think, blew the minds of a lot of people in the tech world from a standpoint of, think of a large 28-inch screen that is normally like your desktop computer, but if you're in kind of some of the more creative professions, you can pretty much push it down. It looks more like an easel. You can draw on it. You can do things like different architecture programs. It's truly one of the most creative pieces of hardware for actual creative professionals we've ever seen. But at the same time, it's this amazing computer that anyone at home can use, and it looks beautiful. And it just reminds you, a lot of people were saying, oh, Microsoft out-Appled Apple before Apple's keynote, because it was just one of those things that you're like, I've never seen anything like this. It has this cool little dial, Surface dial that could stick on the screen and complements it, where you can change, let's say, the colors of a brush while you're painting. Again, this may not be for everyone, but when you talk about innovation and doing things that have never been done before, that's what we love to see, and that's exactly what the Surface Studio did.
It does look pretty cool, and they also unveiled a new Surface tablet as well.
Yeah, this is called their Surface Book. Think of it as a laptop where the screen can be used like your standard laptop and fold down. But if you want to, on the road, you can unhinge that screen. So this is basically a laptop and a tablet together, something that people have been just clamoring for, quite honestly, on the Apple side, to give us some sort of solution like that. But Microsoft's software, the ability to kind of act as both things at the same time, has allowed it to do it, and it's done it really well. So again, a really killer, innovative product, and that's what this whole space is all about.
Speaking of killer, Twitter's apparently killing the Vine. The Vine app, what's up with that? The same week that the company announced it's also cutting 300 jobs. What's going on?
I like that transition you got there. That was smooth. But with Twitter and Vine, Vine has been a platform that over the past, I would say, year and a half, it was really hot. You had all these exciting, fun little 6-second clips, but people stopped using it. Twitter does own Vine, and so what they basically announced is that they aren't going to get rid of all those videos that are stored there. People still have a lot of sentimental value to it. They still want to see it, but they will in the near future. I think in the next coming months, they're going to completely stop supporting the mobile app, and then they'll tell us more, but it's just one of those things in the tech space. There are a lot of platforms that rise fast. They also fall fast. Not everyone stays around forever. You can't always be the king. And Vine had its nice run, but its time has come and gone, and it's done. It's done.
Speaking of done, what's going on with the Twitter sales there? Is there any buyer interested?
Not right now. You know, there were a lot of rumors of different companies scooping them up, but the problem with Twitter is, although they're this huge platform, they still have an issue with making money off of its users and growing. But at the same time, they're worth roughly around $20 billion, and there's not a lot of companies that can just say, hey, I want to buy you for $20 billion. So I think that's their biggest issue. So what are they doing? They're cutting some of the fat. They're cutting down some of their staff. Roughly, these cuts could save them, you know, around $50 to $100 million per year. But they're trying to come up with new ways to be relevant and to make money at the same time and grow their audience. So this is kind of what they have to do.
All right, I hear you. Brian Tong coming to us from CNET. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks a lot.